Hello everyone, my name is Brian and welcome back to another Smite request. I was requested playing Vamana, and since I've got him in that assault, I figured I could just take this one and record it. But as you can see, if you look at the left side, you can see that we have 5 physicals. We have 3 hunters, Neith, Artemis and Chiron, and 2 warriors, me and Odin. So this will definitely be a rough time because the enemy is actually a balanced team. They have Sol, Cabrakan and Capri as the magicals, 2 guardians in that regard, and Sol being a high damage mage doesn't help either. And they have Chiron and Kali as well. Chiron not too much focused on the late game as a hunter, but still a powerful hunter. And Kali definitely late game assassin. Can be very good in assault as well, because if you get the reset on your health with your target, that can definitely be difficult to deal with. If she gets it when everyone used a lot on her, and she gets the target, heals up to about full after that, can be very rough to deal with. So I started off with sovereignty. I felt like it was a bit better for me to pick up than any other items, and that's just because the physical defense grants me some power for my passive, and sovereignty in assaults definitely could pick up, because if they poke you, you will heal up a bit over time, otherwise you won't have it, and then you have to rely on meditation or salvation. Actually it's meditation now, but I would still like to call it salvation. Anyway, you have to rely on that for your healing, and that's not, especially since the cooldown is a lot longer, it's not as reliable. It's just not. So I'll just have to see what we can do with full physical. It's definitely not a loss, since we do have the hunters and that early game damage with our Odin. I kinda went into my ult, but they did have their escapes. As you can see, Cabrakan wall only taking 2 hits to get rid of. Definitely not something that will stop on Vamana with AoE auto attacks. But all in all, we did use a lot of our ultimates and we haven't got anything in return. Something I can do a bunch, and I will do a bunch this game, is use my actually this is great, Kali and Chiron ultimate as well. Bit unfortunate on that damage. Kali got away. That's a bit rough. If we, I'm not sure who did it, but if they waited just a little bit more, would have been able to pick them up. And try to kill that. Ah, that's rough. Kali was very low. Me as well now at this point. But my team is able to peel for me, so that's great. And the sovereignty will probably heal me up a good amount at this point. But fortunately enough, Kali got away. If they waited a bit with the Capri ult for it to fade, then would have been able. But like I said, the one on Vamana, that knockup, will definitely help out a lot to get rid of that Capri pull. They were able to pick us up. We didn't have good enough follow-up on, and I'm picked up as well. I tried to open up a spot for our Odin to get out of that Cabrakan ultimate, and it looks like she is disconnecting. Okay, so a bit rough. 4 of us died already, and well, they are able to push a bit. Neith is still alive though, but she's low on mana, so definitely will have a rough time. And gets picked up here, I think. Maybe, possibly, probably. Yes. That's a bit rough. Actually, she did get the kill credit, so that's just great. Clear this wave. Gain as much gold and experience as I can. I am actually 2 levels up with that additional experience from those archers. As well as we just being with 2 of us. Splitting that experience on 2 well, on 2 persons. 2 people. 2 persons. It's a lot better. And as you can see, again, using that knockup to get rid of that Capri. Try to body block as much as I can, but Chiron definitely is able to get out. But under the tanks, definitely we don't hit an awful lot, and the salvation just prevents me from going for anything. I wanted to hard commit with the ultimate, but You can see a huge amount of damage coming out, and I'm actually very low. The ultimate is struggling to keep me alive, but just barely. And 11 HP. Nice! Okay, that was kinda lucky. That Soul 2 hitting me though was a bit rough. And a nice salvation, otherwise I might have been picked up by the Chiron. I'm not sure if he has his 2 up, but still. He didn't use it, so maybe it was down. Oh, get destroyed! When she leaped in, I definitely knew she would go for me, and because I was too fast, she wasn't able to stun. So seeing me out of that, out of that leap, was definitely good. And then again, nice Stellar Burst, doing a huge amount of damage. I definitely need that magical protection. They also have 2 Guardians that can do, well, Capri can't do a lot of damage, but Cabrakan surely can. So I definitely need some of magical protection. And Bulwark is just straight nonsense at this point. It is so strong. I'm actually glad they nerfed it, because it's annoying to deal with the new Bulwark. I think it's a bit too strong. It gives you a good amount of health, good amount of defenses. And a shield when you're low. And the shield also stays there. They are going to change it though, so that's... I think that's a good thing, a good nerf to balance it. Because otherwise it's just too much. It is a bit more expensive than the other defense items, so... I think that will put it more in line with the rest. But we'll have to see that. We'll just see it when the new patch comes out. Not too worried. They do have a good amount of damage on me actually. Already at half HP, so that's a bit rough. Didn't expect so much damage to come out, but they still have a good amount of burst. I'm not sure if the Kali picked up Chins, but Chins will definitely hurt me a lot. I don't have an awful lot of physical defense, because the sovereignty isn't too high of it, because it also grants me some health. But definitely something to take consideration. Kali with Chins is very powerful at shredding tanks. I'm just taking a spin. Nice Capri ultimate, perfectly timed, saving the Cabrakan. Otherwise we could have been able to prevent anything. The Sol used her 3, so she's just dead to begin with. That's also the reason why I ulted, otherwise I probably would not have. Trying to do as much damage as I can. Artemis is picked up, but a bit off with my Umbrella Ring. I kind of want to focus the Kali as much as I can. And that's just for the fact that Kali can be really rough to deal with. And if you can prevent her from leveling a lot in the early game, then you will definitely have it a lot easier. Nice stun, preventing my dash. She did use her dash and she was slowed by my Umbrella Ring. But she's still able to get away, so that's a bit rough. It's pretty hard to chase someone down. We don't have the best chase gods. Odin doesn't have a speed increase. The hunters need to move up a lot more than we do, so... I am still tanking the tower. I'll just wait a bit for our Odin to get out safely, because I can take it a lot better. Chiron was on the other side, unfortunately. He could have ran away. And at this point, I can just go for it. That was a bit rough. The 2 from Capri actually finished me off there, while I was trying to deal that last auto attack. But I do have my Bulwark. I think they don't have any lifesteal build. They have some healing effects that can help them, but Bulwark at this point is just a lot better, especially since I can just pick it up. And I have enough gold for that. I am thinking about Curse, and I will get it. That has to do with the fact that you can stick to someone a lot better with it. I could also get Sprint, but since this will counter Kali a lot more, I think it's a lot better. Because she will get less healing from that target that she can kill, or that assist, or with her leap. Just a lot less of healing if I use my weakening curse in her ultimate. So that can really help out a lot. Do need to be a bit careful at this point. I am level 13, so it's not too bad. Nice Soul 3 though, removing any movement speed in parries. Just moving as fast as possible, but she did use a 3, so I am able to just do a good amount of damage, but she's a bit too fast. And I don't have an awful lot of damage. Makes sense, I only have the power boost. The fact that they focused me does mean my team is able to pick up Kubrakan, but I am quite low. Salvation will help though. Odin Cage is so strong. Interesting. Okay, Chiron tried to use his dash to get out of the Odin, and our Chiron prevented the other Chiron's dash. Well, he just stopped it. Let's go! Go! Yes! Got the Chiron. I'll definitely die at this point. And especially with that root from the Capri. Guarantees it. I definitely need a Hide of the Nemean. I could also go for some cooldown reduction. Both would be pretty good on the Vamana, because he relies on his abilities a lot to deal damage. And both of those items give a huge amount of physical defense. Fortunately enough, Chiron is focusing down the Capri, and Kali just gets free reign over the other hunters. He's able to pick up them. I hope Neith isn't the target for Kali, otherwise if Kali picks her up full health, Kali to deal with again. Can be very powerful if you get the resets. It's also have to do a bit with the luck if you can get that killing blow on your target. But with the passive changed on the Kali, it definitely will help out a huge amount, because even on assist you get, I think, about 15% of your maximum health, so still some healing. Trying to poke as much as I can, since this is not a healer match, even though they do have a Chiron. Every single damage you deal is just something you want, since they can't heal it up as easy. Again, a bit off point with my umbrella rank. Not really too used of it, but overthrowing it by a lot. I do use my my one a lot to engage. And actually I forgot that was fixed. The Capri ultimate now will trigger after the Chiron dies in his ultimate. It was a bug that it did not do that. But still trying to heal for my team a bit by preventing the enemy to engage. Can also help out a lot. That's something you will see me do a lot in this game. A lot of the enemies don't want to rush into a Vamana, especially with this Vamana with his ultimate up. So that definitely is something you can take into consideration if you want to help your teammate out, or your teammates. Allowing them the time to burst, well, not really burst, to just kill one of their more tanky targets. For instance, the Kraken or anything. Nice Neith ultimate. And the soul being stuck in the cage. I'm not sure why she didn't use the 3 earlier. Probably because it was on cooldown. But with the 3, if the portion of that incorporeal form triggers, you can walk out of the Odin cage. So you want to activate it as fast as possible if you're stuck in that Odin cage. I'm not sure if Kali is my target. I do need to be a bit careful. I do have my dash. She elected not to chase me down. We actually got the Phoenix, so that's great. That's one of the more powerful things we have with our setup. 3 hunters shooting at that Phoenix will definitely burst it down very quickly. At this point I need something to stick to the enemy a bit more. I also need to be, well, I'm considering additional defense because it also grants me some power. So cooldown with the defense is definitely powerful. But with the Frostbound I can stick to the enemies a lot more, and it will also provide more peeling for my team than just my 1 and my 3. My ultimate isn't peeling too much, other than just being a huge body block, and also, well, it can scare them a bit. But if you have that heavy hammer you can slow down those annoying enemies a lot. I think it was a bit of an early Odin cage. You probably should have tried capture the Chiron in it as well, because it also has the attack speed reduction, and since he wasn't in it he could just attack with his regular speed. But he tried to defend. He actually is able to get out safely, although being low health. It's better than dying. It is a lot more difficult if you don't have a teammate. And again, getting rid of that Capri pull. Artemis is a bit stuck though. And I take a huge amount of damage. That soul really doing work to me. If she is allowed to do a good amount of auto attacks, it can definitely hurt me a lot. Healing up my team with that salvation. At this point we can engage, and a beautiful Odin cage will guarantee the enemy being stuck in our cage. And as you can see, soul picked up. Only 2 left. At this point it doesn't really matter too much. Interesting feature. The Cabrakan got sucked into the trap from Artemis a bit, so his tremble moved, but it wasn't interrupted. Pretty interesting. You can just move the Cabrakan bit by bit if you put traps underneath him. Just barely from his center. Pretty interesting. But at this point only Kali left. Everyone has like 15 seconds to respawn. Kali can be very powerful. She actually went for some defense, which makes sense because we are a full physical team. If she's able to pick up every single one, it will definitely be rough. Luckily enough, the Artemis is not the target, and we are able to pick up that Kali, the last defense. Chiron is back up, Sol as well, so we do need to be a bit careful. But no, it's enough. 2 hunters left alive, enter Odin. We are able to pick up the Titan and our victory. Even though we were behind in kills, we got the Phoenix quite early on with those 3 hunters. So that can be very powerful, and this shows that you can actually win with 5 physicals. Although I do have to admit we have 3 hunters, so that makes things a lot more easier. I have had teams where you're like 3 assassins and 2 warriors, then you have a really rough time. Actually did a good amount of damage. I could continue to fight the enemy because I had a good amount of defense, and I was able to keep myself alive enough for my team to fight the Cabrakan a lot more safely. If I didn't do that, and if I tried to peel the Cabrakan off of them, then the entire team, the Sol, the Kali and the Chiron, would be allowed to join the fight a lot easier, and that way pick off any single one of my teammates if they were in another position that, well, in a rough position, a bit more to the side, a bit away from the entire team, then could have been easily picked up by any of them if I didn't try to hold them, try to keep them where they were, let them focus me. I have a good amount of defense, and I'm actually have a decent amount of damage to them, so definitely helps out a lot. As you can see, if you look at the builds, every single one on the enemy team picked up defense. Even the Sol, she started off with a Celestial helmet. Since my team went for 2 Deathbringers, that can actually help out a good amount, because it will prevent one of those crits in every 30 seconds. I'm absolutely not sure. I never picked it up, to be honest, especially since now the crit build isn't as viable as it was. But definitely a lot of physical protection on the enemy team. I didn't have any pen for it, but my team had enough damage for it. So I was just there to deal bits of damage continuously and annoying my team. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for the request. I really liked it. Vamana is one of those gods I rarely pick up, and that's just because I don't like to play warriors as much, and Vamana is probably one of the least favorite I play. But he is very potent. He has some strong abilities in his kit. But the interesting part about him is he has damaging abilities, is 1 to his 3. And his ultimate is basic attack, so it's kind of interesting to build him sometimes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any requests, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next one.